Hello everyone and welcome to another custom figure showcase, and today I have another boxed custom, and this is a regenerated third Doctor and Auton from the Spearhead from space. Now I'm going to take you over the box last, but first of all let's have a look at the figures individually inside. So we're going to start with the third Doctor. Now the eagle-eyed amongst you will recognise, some people are going to think, oh, this isn't standard, you know, a third Doctor head I've repainted, which I'll come back to in a minute, on a second Doctor body. However, the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that this is not a second Doctor, and I can prove this very simply. I have here a second Doctor figure. It's the only standard, and when I say standard I mean uncustomised, second Doctor figure from the 13 Doctors box set, and if I place him side by side you can see the height difference, and there's a very good reason for this, and it's because this is not a standard second Doctor body. It is a mash-up of parts. Most specifically, I've got the coat and arms from a second Doctor. The torso is actually from a third Doctor with a re-sculpted shirt front, and the legs are actually from a Roger Delgado Master. Now I'm going to take you over why I used all these parts. So basically, the coat is the coat is the coat. I wanted the standard coat to be the standard coat, so the coat and the arms was very simple. However, the problem I've seen is when some people have done regenerated third Doctors, to make him the right height, they have cut and extended his legs. And it works to make him higher, but the problem is, because the shirt front on the second Doctor figure cuts off here, because it's tucked in, it makes, when you extend the legs on the figure, it makes him look, his legs look ridiculously long, and it just, to me, it just doesn't work, it doesn't look right. And so I thought, well, what shirt fronts do I have? Well, how could I redo a second Doctor shirt front? And I thought, well, I know that the third Doctor, I know that the coat fits over a third Doctor figure, and then I can replace the arms and do whatever. So I thought, well, I'll use the third Doctor basis for the figure. So I took out the shirt front and re-sculpted in the new one, and to give it a little bit of a bit more of a regenerated look, the other thing that I've done is with sculpting the shirt front, I've actually sculpted the shirt untucked, because I liked the idea that as he's regenerated, obviously the second Doctor's clothes have gotten smaller on him, and so where the shirt's tucked in on the second Doctor, because he's shorter, it probably would have come untucked on the third Doctor, and again it just helps hide the waist as well. Now at this point I thought that was going to be that. And I thought about, bearing in mind this was before I'd sculpted on, obviously, because there's no waist articulation, but I looked at the third Doctor's legs, and the problem I have with the third Doctor's legs is they are much more slim in terms of the sculpt, and it didn't look right. The trousers looked too slim, and also the boots were covered by the ankles. They didn't stand out very much, and I was looking through my box of spares, and I realised on the Roger Delgado Master, his boots, the cuffs on his boots are actually much higher, and if I put them back to back, if they'll stand there, probably won't, I might have to do some balancing here, but if I put them back to back, and you can I'll hold them closer to camera, but if you look at their shoes, you can see that the shoes, this one here on the right, this is the custom, and this one on the left is the real, but you can see that the sort of boot style is much more fitting in terms of the sort of size of the cuffs and the ankles and things like that. So the Roger Delgado Master trousers just seem to work better, because it looked like they would have been Troughton's trousers, you know, and it sort of looks a bit better in terms of the design. So that's why sort of it is a mash of parts. Now the other thing that I've obviously done, which I did mention earlier, I'll get it in closer to camera if I can, is I have repainted the hair. Now the problem is that I don't know how well this is going to come up on camera. It comes up very well in the hand in a sort of a mismatch of grey and sort of brownish blonde tones, much more how he had his hair younger. Obviously the one thing that I could have done, I could have re-sculpted the hair, but that would have been quite difficult. So obviously he does still have the more bouffant later hairstyle, but it still works better in terms of making his hair look a lot younger and makes the sort of head sculpt look a bit younger. The fact that he's not quite as grey yet. Obviously, I've put some grey tints and things in it. But other than that, I think that's come together really well. And the other thing I will just say now, just before I move on to reviewing the custom Auton figure, is I know that a lot of people want to see regeneration figures, and obviously we've already had official regeneration figures. We have had the 4th, 5th, 6th, 10th, and 11th Doctors as official regeneration figures. Obviously the others we haven't had, and I have done obviously customs of the other ones. But the thing is, I know a lot of people want me to make other regeneration figures, and I say this almost every time I make a regeneration figure. This is not a start to me making other regeneration figures, because they don't really... I mean, this was one I never thought I'd make. I'm not adverse, I will say this now, this isn't a start to me making more regeneration figures, however I am not against making them in future. But I know that one, and this is a classic example of why it's not something that I want to make. Something that a lot of people want to say is, they say, can you make a regenerated 9th Doctor, you know, the regeneration from the War Doctor to the 9th Doctor. Now, I honestly don't see myself ever making that, simply because it would only ever be a head swap. That's literally all I would have to do. And I know some people turn around and say, well, if it's just a head swap, you could do it really easily. It's like, well, yeah, I could, but it seems like a waste of parts to me just to swap one head when I could use those parts for something else and something better, you know. So that is something that I'm not interested in doing. It's probably one that, unless I just happen to have the parts spare and I really have no other ideas to do with them, then I might make a regenerated 9th Doctor in the War Doctor's outfit. But apart from that, I'm just really not interested, because I don't see the point. I really don't see the point in that. And again, like some people said, like, can you make a regenerated 2nd Doctor? Now, this is the flip side of things. That was something, again, I never really thought about doing it because I wasn't that interested. But you might have already seen it by the time this video comes out. If not, then it's coming soon. But I have made recently a coatless 2nd Doctor from the 2 Doctors. Now that I've made that was something that I never thought I'd make, but I've made it now, and it wouldn't be difficult to replicate that and change the colour scheme of it to a regenerated 2nd Doctor. And so that is an example of, now that I've done one, I think, well, I might do the other in future. So it's perfectly possible that I may make other regeneration figures in future, but some it's very unlikely I'll make. Others I may well make. Obviously, as I said, you know, of the ones that have already been released, I'm probably not going to make, because I've already got them. Obviously, I have remade one of them, but the majority of them I'm not going to make. So I just want to say that now, because I said almost every time I do a regeneration figure, it usually crops up as a question somewhere. So I just wanted to mention that now. But now we shall get on to the custom Auton. And so here is the custom Auton. So underneath this figure is actually, I'll start off by telling you what the basis is. This is actually a Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart figure from his military tunic, and what I've done for this is literally cut off all the braiding and everything off the front and the back. If I zoom in on the back, you can still see a little bit of where the leather tunic leather straps and things were. But literally all I've done for this is cut those off, resculpt on the new shirt front, resculpt on the buttons, sculpt on a new bit of belt, the badge, and that's basically it. Other than that, things are just removed from it. Now this is partly based off, this is sort of my own sort of reimagining of an Auton figure. This is based on, I'll try and put some footage on screen. This is based on a Auton that is seen in the breakout shop scene, but the one in the scene has a longer sort of coat, and unfortunately I couldn't really very easily sculpt that, so I decided in the end just to simply do my own sort of variant, as it were, and that's why I decided to make one with a shorter jacket almost. But that is the one that I've done for the basis for this. So as I said, literally all I've done for this is Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart figure, resculpt the coat, add on some bits, and obviously this is the actual Auton head, and I've sculpted on hair as well, changed over the hands, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I've done for this. Now I didn't think originally that I would put in the original Third Doctor Auton that appears mainly in the episode and has had a released figure. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, I've already got one custom figure in this box set. I might as well make two. And I thought, well, it'd be nice to see another classic Auton variant, and so this is the one that I decided to go for. Again, just because it just stands out a bit more, and it looks a bit different in the box because it's not something that's been seen before. You know, and it just stands out and it just looks better. And obviously, if I put him next to the Third Doctor, you get an idea of the height of them as well. Works quite well, and they're sort of fairly evenly matched. You know, and it just looks nice as a set to have together. And obviously, he's over there on the shelf. I won't show him in this video because I don't know if he's going to have seen by the time this video comes out. You might have already seen it, you might not. But obviously, I do have a Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart figure. I did think about including the Brigadier in this box set, but I didn't. But it's worth saying that if they ever did release a triple pack of Spearhead from space, these two, along with the Brigadier, that would be a fantastic triple pack to see. I'd certainly be one that I would buy. But that is the review of the figures, and now I will hand over to myself for the review, the final review and outro of the box. So lastly, we come to the box itself. So overall, this box is actually, in fact, a Silver Nemesis Cyberman 2-pack. Originally, I had planned to do just a regenerated Third Doctor, but realising that I had this 2-pack left, I thought it would be much more fun to do an actual 2-pack figure similar that has been released to other Third Doctor packs, and I planned to do the regeneration figure, so I thought, why not? And that's what I'll do. So obviously that is what I've done. So obviously we have the nice bubble pack. Now, the front part of this, this is using the same template I did for my regenerated 7th Doctor. Literally all I've done here, so the picture is actually taken from the head of the Third Doctor is from the Spearhead from space. The body is actually from a promo picture of the group of the Doctors from the 5 Doctors, and that is the 2nd Doctor's body, which I've just recoloured. And then the Auton is literally the Auton from the episode, and then obviously 3rd Doctor, Auton from Spearhead from space, 3rd Doctor intro, 3rd Doctor time and everything. And that's pretty much it. And I've also put in the accessories of the Auton sphere and the hand in there as well. But yeah, that's basically it for the package. It looks great because it looks like a brilliant 2-pack. And again, it's one of those customs that I've put together, and in a weird kind of way, I look at it, and particularly the regenerated Third Doctor is one of those things that, especially when I see it in the pack like that, I look at it and think that could be an actual released figure. It looks weirdly realistic. But yeah, I'm very pleased with how it's come out. It's going to look great on my shelves. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it yet. I'm going to have to do a bit of rearranging, but it will look fantastic. I'm very pleased with the finished product, and it is certainly one that I had a lot of fun making. Not just the box, but also the figures as well. So that is my regenerated Third Doctor and Auton from the Spearhead from space. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot, and be sure to check the description below for a link to my Patreon. I'm doing my very first figure animation, and you can get involved. There is exclusive content and rewards for those who do so, and supporting my Patreon in any way gets your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.